Hi, I'm Joe Goodman, and this is 300 Seconds of Science. Water. Good old H2O. Where would we be without it? I'm sure you've heard that most of our body is composed of water, but did you know that more than half, around 60% of our body is actually made of this stuff? Many of our organs are even mostly composed of water too. For instance, our lungs are actually made up of about 83% water. Our hearts and brains are both around 73% water. Even our skin is made up of about 64% water. And our bones, which are pretty solid, are still about 30% water. With all this water floating around in us, it must be pretty important, right? Unsurprisingly, it's essential for a lot of functions in the human body, besides just making up most of our organs. Water even helps start the digestion process when it creates the saliva in our mouth that's used to break down everything we eat. And whenever you're working up a sweat, that's the water in your body helping to regulate your body's temperature and cool you off. Now, all that may have been things you've learned in 7th grade biology, but there are things that water does in your body that it doesn't really ever get the recognition for. Water even affects how we feel and think. In the brain, water is an essential component for creating hormones, which regulate our physiology and behavior, and it's important for creating neurotransmitters in the brain that are used for sending messages both in the brain and from the brain to the rest of the body. With all the things water can do, and how important it is for developing and maintaining our body, I can see why a baby has an average of almost 80% water making up their body to help with their development. And why we need so much a day to stay healthy. Young infants on average only need 2 to 8 ounces of water a day, but as we grow up, we obviously need more than that, with adult men and women requiring between 2 and 4 liters every day. But what if you don't get enough water? Well, I'm here to tell you exactly what would happen if we are deprived of this elixir of life. If we don't get enough water, we start suffering from dehydration, which can have some very serious effects on the human body. These effects differ from young children to adults as well. We often see symptoms such as dry mouth, not having tears when crying, sunken cheeks and eyes, and even having a sunken soft spot on the top of the skull when young children are suffering from dehydration. Adults, on the other hand, suffer from slightly different symptoms, the most obvious being extreme thirst. Lacking the right amount of water in your body can also impair you, both mentally and physically. Even performing simple tasks and concentrating can be difficult. Not to mention that motor coordination and decision making can be hindered as well. Fatigue, dizziness, and overall confusion are all symptoms that can be avoided with a nice, refreshing glass of water. Dehydration can affect anyone if they don't get enough water, but there are some who are more susceptible than others. The elderly, young children, some of those who are physically disabled, and those with chronic illnesses are all more susceptible. For example, if you're suffering from diabetes, chronic kidney disease, or Alzheimer's, just to name a few chronic illnesses, you're at a higher risk for dehydration. So, it's important to look out for some of the main causes of dehydration. The first and most common cause is being exposed to excessive heat and sweating. Sweating is one way the body maintains its temperature, but this loss of fluid can be dangerous. There are also medications that increase the risk of dehydration, such as diuretics, antihistamines, blood pressure medications, and also antipsychotics. If not treated, then dehydration can cause some very serious medical issues, such as heat stroke, heat cramps, heat injury, seizures and involuntary muscle contractions, losing consciousness, and even hypovolemic shock, which is a low blood volume shock that is caused by a significant drop in blood pressure and oxygen. As you can see, making sure you're getting the right amount of water each day is very important. If you want to stay up to date with all the best scientific content, make sure you subscribe to 300 Seconds of Science on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and show us some love on Instagram. This has been Joe Goodman reminding you to go out, enjoy life, stay hydrated, and stay curious.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.